The cargo ship's silent promise moved through space like it had done 1,000 times before. Captain Elena Voss sat in her chair watching the stars pass by on the main screen. Behind her, the crew worked at their stations. Everything was normal. Everything was peaceful. Elena had been flying trade routes for 15 years. She knew these paths better than she knew her own home. The silent promise carried medical supplies, food, and tools. Nothing special. Nothing worth stealing. Just honest cargo going to honest people. Her daughter Maria sat in the corner of the bridge doing homework on a datapad. 12 years old and already bored of space travel, Elena smiled at that. 12 other children were on the ship too. Families of the crew. This was a safe job, a quiet job. That's what everyone thought about humans. Safe, quiet, peaceful. The alarm rang. "Captain, we have ships approaching," said Chen, the sensor officer. His voice was calm but concerned. 3 vessels. Military grade. They're Velkari. Elena felt her stomach tighten. The Velkari Dominion had been making noise lately. They had conquered some smaller species in the past few years. People said they were getting confident. Too confident. "Hail them," Elena said. "Let's see what they want." The screen changed. A Velkari commander appeared. He had 4 eyes and gray skin that looked like rough stone. His name showed on the screen, Commander Thaxrin. He looked at Elena the way someone looks at an insect. "Human vessel, you are in Velkari-controlled space," Thaxrin said. His translator made his voice sound harsh. "You will power down your engines and prepare to be boarded. Your cargo now belongs to the Dominion." Elena kept her face calm. Inside, her heart was racing. "Commander, this is a neutral trade corridor. It has been neutral for 3,000 years. We are carrying medical supplies to the Centauri colonies. People will die if we don't deliver them." Thaxrin made a sound like laughter. "Neutral space belongs to whoever is strong enough to take it. Your council is weak. You are weak. Power down now or we will disable your ship." "Commander, please reconsider," Elena said. Her voice was still polite, still calm. "We have civilians on board, children. We mean you no harm. Please just let us pass." "I do not negotiate with cargo," Thaxrin said. "You have 30 seconds. Elena looked at her crew. She looked at Maria, who had stopped doing her homework and was watching with wide eyes. Elena took a deep breath. "Chen, activate the beacon," she said quietly. "Captain?" Chen turned to look at her. His face went pale. "Are you sure?" "Once we activate that—" "I know what it means," Elena said. "Do it." Chen's hands shook as he pressed the controls. Somewhere deep in the ship, something activated. Something that had been waiting for 400 years. Elena turned back to the screen. "Commander Thaxrin, I am formally requesting that you withdraw. You are about to make a terrible mistake." Thaxrin's 4 eyes narrowed. "You threaten me? A human traitor threatens the Velkari Dominion?" He turned to someone off screen. "Weapons officer, disable their engines. Show them the cost of defiance. Commander, please." Elena said one last time. "You were warned." The screen went black. 3 seconds later, the ship shook. Explosions tore through the engine room. Alarms screamed. The lights flickered and went red. "Engine room is gone," someone shouted. "We're losing power. Hull breach in sections 4 and 5. Another voice called out. Elena gripped her chair. The ship was dying around her. She could hear crying. Someone was screaming about the engines. Maria was holding onto her seat, terrified. "All crew, this is the captain," Elena said into the ship-wide comm. Her voice was steady even now. "Activate emergency pods. Get the children to safety first. We have maybe 3 minutes," she turned to Chen. "Is the beacon away?" "Yes, Captain," Chen said. "It's broadcasting on all human frequencies. It will reach the nearest relay in 4 hours." "Good," Elena said. She stood up and walked to Maria, pulling her daughter into a tight hug. "It's going to be okay, baby. The pods are safe. They'll protect you." "Mom, I'm scared," Maria whispered. "I know. I am too," Elena admitted. She kissed Maria's head. "But remember what I taught you. Humans look soft because we choose to be kind. We choose to be peaceful. But when someone hurts innocent people..." Another explosion rocked the ship. The main screen flickered back on. Thaxrin was there watching them die. "Your vessel is now ours," he said. "Surrender any survivors for processing." Elena looked at him. Her face was calm. Her voice was cold. "You killed children today, Commander. You attacked a civilian ship. You ignored every warning." She leaned forward. "May whatever gods you believe in forgive you. Because we won't, she cut the transmission. All hands abandon ship, she ordered. Activate stealth pods. Hide our people. Let them think we're all gone. As the crew rushed to escape, Elena stood on her dying bridge. She opened a locked panel and pressed 3 buttons. Ancient code taught to every human captain. Code they hoped they would never use. The message was simple, only 3 words. Remember. Never. Again. The silent promise went dark. In the cold silence of space, a small beacon drifted away from the wreckage. It pulsed with a red light, on and off, a heartbeat in the dark, a call to war. The beacon reached the nearest relay station 4 hours after the silent promise died. The relay was automated, run by simple computer programs. It received the signal, processed it, and did what it was programmed to do. It sent the signal everywhere, to every human ship, every human station, every human colony. Across 40 sectors of space, the signal spread at faster than light speed. It took 6 hours to reach them all. The message was simple. Civilian ship destroyed. Children killed. Location attached. Remember. Never. Again. On the trading station Deep Harbor, a human merchant named Robert was selling fruit to a Xanthari family. He was smiling, telling jokes, making the children laugh. Then his datapad beeped. He looked at it. His smile disappeared. I apologize, he said quietly. I must close my shop now. But we're not finished, the Xanthari mother said. Is something wrong? Robert didn't answer. He just started closing the shutters. His hands moved mechanically like he wasn't really there anymore. The Xanthari family left, confused and worried. All across Deep Harbor, human shops closed. Human workers left their posts. Human diplomats walked out of meetings mid-sentence. Within an hour, every human on the station had returned to their ships or locked themselves in their quarters. The station master, a 4-armed Quellan named Varix, tried to contact them. No one answered. He tried to enter the human section. The doors were sealed. What's happening? He asked his security chief. Sir, it's not just here, the security chief said, looking at his screens with growing alarm. I'm getting reports from everywhere. Humans across the galaxy are going silent. This was happening on thousands of stations, hundreds of planets. Human ships in the middle of deliveries just stopped. Human diplomats walked out of negotiations without explanation. Human teachers left their alien students sitting in classrooms. It was like someone had flipped a switch, and every human in the galaxy had turned off. At the Galactic Council, the emergency session started within 12 hours. Representatives from 200 species gathered in the Great Hall. Everyone was talking at once, demanding answers. Ambassador Chen had represented humanity for 50 years. He was old now, with gray hair and kind eyes. He had settled disputes, negotiated treaties, and made friends with dozens of species. Everyone liked Ambassador Chen. He walked into the hall. The room went quiet, waiting for him to explain. Chen walked to the human podium. He stood there for a long moment, looking at the faces of the representatives. Some of them he had known for decades. Ambassador Chen, the council speaker said, "Please tell us what's happening. Why have your people gone silent?" Chen picked up his datapad. He set it on the podium. Then he removed the council badge from his uniform. He placed it next to the datapad. "Wait," the speaker said. "What are you doing?" Chen looked at the Velkari representative. Commander Thaxran was there, looking smug and unconcerned. Chen stared at him for a long, cold moment. Then Ambassador Chen turned and walked out. He didn't say a single word. The hall erupted in chaos. "Stop him!" Someone shouted. "What does this mean?" Another voice called out, but Chen was already gone. Within an hour, he was on a shuttle heading for human space. He never looked back. The Velkari representative stood up. "This is an overreaction," Thaxran announced. "We engaged a single vessel that refused lawful commands. It was a military action in our space. Humans cannot declare this a crisis." "You killed civilians," the Xanthari representative said. "Her name was Keeper Sha'ara, and she was very old. You killed children." "Acceptable casualties of expansion," Thaxran said with a wave of his hand. "Besides, I am claiming salvage rights to the wreckage. The cargo and any survivors belong to the Dominion." Keeper Sha'ara stood up slowly. She was remembering something. Something from long ago. She accessed her people's historical database with shaking hands. "I need to research something," she said. "This has happened before. What has happened before? The speaker asked. Humans going silent, Sha'ara said. I remember stories from my grandmother. From 2,000 years ago, when humans first joined the council, there were protocols, rules they made us agree to. She found the file. It was old and partially corrupted, but some words were still readable. The Terran protocols, she read aloud. Agreed upon year 847 Council Standard. Humanity agrees to maintain a peaceful presence in the galaxy. In exchange, the Council agrees to protect human civilian vessels as sacred. If this protection fails, the file was damaged. She couldn't read the rest. If what? The speaker demanded. What happens if it fails? I don't know, Sha'ara said. But there's a phrase repeated 12 times in different dead languages. It says never again over and over. The council chamber went quiet. Send ships to Valkyrie space, the speaker ordered. Find out what's happening. The ships were sent. 3 days later, the first reports came back. Sir, the communication officer said, his voice shaking. The Valkyrie border patrols aren't responding. 3 military outposts have gone dark. Gone dark? The speaker asked. You mean destroyed? No, sir, the officer said. I mean gone. There's no wreckage, no debris, no distress signals. They're just not there anymore. More reports came in over the next hours. Valkyrie ships were disappearing. Not destroyed, not captured, simply ceasing to exist. And in the empty space where they had been, sensor equipment was detecting something impossible. Gravity signatures, massive ones. Moving through the dark, things were coming, things that had been waiting for 400 years, things that used to be human warships, before humanity decided to hide them away and hope they would never be needed. The hope had run out. The Valkyrie Dominion had 12 days left before they would understand what they had. Awakened, 12 days before, the galaxy learned what humans really were. 12 days before, the silence ended and the burning began. High Commander Vekthar of the Valkyrie Dominion sat in his war room, staring at the map. Red dots showed where his ships and stations had been. Past tense. Had been. In 7 days, he had lost 30% of his border defenses. Not destroyed, just gone. Send the third fleet, he ordered. 200 ships. Find out what's happening and stop it. Admiral Cross saluted. Sir, what are we fighting? We don't know, Vekthar admitted. But the humans have been quiet for too long. Whatever this is, they're behind it. Show them that the Valkyrie Dominion does not fear human tricks. The third fleet was the pride of the Dominion. 200 warships with the newest weapons and shields. They had conquered 3 species in the past decade. They were powerful. They were feared. They jumped into the border zone where the patrols had disappeared. What they found made no sense. Admiral, the sensor officer said slowly, there's nothing here. Nothing? What do you mean nothing? I mean empty space, sir. But not natural empty space. It's like someone cut out a perfect sphere and removed everything inside it. Cross looked at the screen. The sensor officer was right. There was a sphere of completely empty space, almost mathematical in its precision. Inside it, nothing existed. No stations, no ships, no debris. Even the micro-asteroids that should have been there were gone. What could do this? Cross whispered. Admiral, I'm detecting 17 more spheres, another officer reported. All perfect. All empty. It's like someone is erasing things from reality. Pull back, Cross ordered. Get us out of here now. The fleet turned to retreat. They activated their FTL drives. Halfway through the jump, they encountered something. The last transmission from the third fleet was only 5 seconds long. It was Admiral Cross screaming 3 words, "They're in here!" Then silence. 200 ships, 30,000 Valkyrie soldiers, gone in 5 seconds. The Galactic Council sent their own investigation ships, not military ones. Science vessels. They approached the border carefully, respectfully. They sent a message ahead on all frequencies. We are not military. We are seeking answers. Please respond. Something answered. Not with words. With data. Pure information flooded their systems. Maps, coordinates, evidence. The Council ships received 50 years of records. Every attack the Valkyrie had made on civilian ships. Every species they had conquered. Every unarmed vessel they had destroyed. The data was perfect. Time-stamped, verified. 892 innocent people killed. 17 different species. All civilians. All helpless, and then one more record. The silent promise. 47 humans. 12 children. all murdered while begging for mercy. The council ships withdrew. They delivered their report. The galaxy finally understood what was happening. This wasn't random. This was justice. On the Velkari homeworld, people started to panic. The government told them everything was fine. The government lied. In orbit, satellites started failing. Not broken. Failing. Like someone was switching them off one by one. A Velkari escape pod was found drifting near the border. Inside was a single soldier. The council ships brought him in. The doctors examined him. Physically, he was fine. Not a scratch on him. But his mind was broken. What did you see? They asked him gently. The soldier rocked back and forth. Ships, he whispered. Ships that weren't there. Ships that bent the light around them. Ships that moved like living things. Like predators. What ships? Human ships? Not the humans we knew, the soldier said. His eyes were empty. Different humans. Silent humans. They didn't shoot us. They didn't talk to us. They just erased us ship by ship, station by station, like we were mistakes that needed correction. How did you survive? They let me, the soldier said. They put me in the pod. They wanted me to tell you. They wanted everyone to know. He started crying. They don't destroy. They erase. Like we never existed. Like we were never real. The council analysts finally got access to some old human files. They had been public all along, but no one had ever looked closely. The files showed Earth's economy, Earth's industry, Earth's population distribution. 94% of humanity's resources were marked as dark sector operations. 94% of their ships, factories, and military power were listed as classified. For 400 years, everyone had seen only 6% of what humanity really was. The peaceful traders, the kind diplomats, the friendly neighbors, that was 6%. The other 94% had been hidden, waiting, preparing, training, hoping they would never be needed. By the void, a Zenthari analyst whispered, looking at the numbers. They've been running a shadow civilization this entire time. Everything we saw was just the surface. The real humanity, we never met the real humanity. Why? Her colleague asked. Why hide? Because, she said, pulling up even older files. 400 years ago, when humans first came to space, they were at war with themselves. They had just finished destroying each other. They promised the council they would never be violent again. They kept that promise by hiding their capacity for violence where no one could see it. Until now. Until someone killed their children, she corrected. Back in Velkari space, something was happening. The communication relays were going offline. Not damaged, removed. Piece by piece, the Velkari were being isolated from the galaxy. High Commander Vekthar watched his territory shrink on the map. The human ships were out there. He knew they were, but he couldn't see them. Couldn't fight them. Couldn't even talk to them, sir, his aide said quietly. Maybe we should apologize? Offer compensation? Apologize? Vekthar's face twisted with rage. The Velkari Dominion does not apologize to prey species. Sir, they're not prey. We made a terrible mistake. We need to— Enough! Vekthar shouted. Ready our defense fleet. When they come to our homeworld, we will show them that we are not afraid. We will fight. The aide said nothing, but he thought, we can't fight what we can't see. And in the darkness between stars, 2,000 human warships moved closer. They had been built for this. Trained for this. Every captain, every soldier, every weapons officer had spent centuries hoping this day would never come. But it had come, and now the galaxy would see what humans had become when they decided never to be victims. Again, silent, precise, unstoppable. The burning was about to begin. The Velkari defense fleet waited in orbit around their homeworld. 500 ships. Every weapon ready. Every soldier watching the sensors. They waited for 3 days. On the 4th day, the humans arrived. They didn't come through normal space. They didn't use jump points or FTL lanes. One moment the space was empty. The next moment, 2,000 human warships simply existed. No warning. No flash of light. They were just there. The Velkari admiral opened a channel to demand their surrender. Before he could speak, every weapon system in his fleet went dark. Shields failed. Engines stopped. Communication cut out. The fleet hung in space, helpless, waiting to die. But death didn't come. Instead, a single transmission played on every screen, every speaker, every data pad on every Valkyrie ship and on the planet below. A human woman appeared. She was old with white hair and tired eyes. She wore a simple uniform with no decorations. "I am Admiral Sarah Chen," she said. Her voice was calm, almost gentle. 400 years ago, my ancestors made a promise. They promised to never again start wars, to never again hurt innocent people. They kept that promise. We became traders and teachers. We became friends to the galaxy, she paused. But we also made another promise, a private promise, that never again would we allow innocents to die. Never again would we stand by while children were murdered. We built a military in the shadows, hoping we would never need it, hoping the galaxy had learned peace. The screen changed. It showed the silent promise, showed it being shot, showed it dying. "You attacked a civilian ship," Admiral Chen continued. "You killed 47 humans. 12 were children. You did this knowing they were unarmed, knowing they had begged for mercy. You laughed at their deaths. The Valkyrie homeworld went silent. Billions of people watched. We have waited 400 years for the galaxy to be better," Chen said. "But you are not better. You are the same. So we will make you better." The screen changed again. This time it showed data. 50 years of Valkyrie attacks. 892 innocents killed. 17 species terrorized. "You are found guilty," Chen said simply. "Your sentence is this: you will never threaten anyone again." The human fleet moved. They were fast. Impossibly fast. Valkyrie weapons tried to fire and found no power. Missiles launched and were caught by human point defense systems that made them look like child's toys. In the first hour, every Valkyrie military satellite was destroyed. Not damaged, destroyed completely. In the second hour, every military station in orbit was disabled. The humans used some kind of weapon that simply turned them off. No explosions, no death. The stations just stopped working. In the third hour, the humans landed on the planet. High Commander Vekthar watched from his bunker as human soldiers walked through his capital city. They moved in perfect formation like machines. Valkyrie soldiers tried to fight and were knocked unconscious with weapons that didn't kill. "Only made them sleep, how?" Vekthar whispered. "How are they so strong?" His aide looked at him with empty eyes. "Because they've been preparing for this for 400 years. While we were conquering weak species, they were becoming something we couldn't imagine." The bunker doors opened. Not forced. Not blown up. They just opened. Human soldiers walked in. They pointed weapons at Vekthar. "High Commander," one said in perfect Valkyrie language, "you are under arrest for war crimes. Come with us." "I will not surrender to prey," Vekthar shouted. He reached for his sidearm. The human moved faster than Vekthar's eyes could track. The gun was gone from his hand before he could fire. He stood there stunned. "You are not being given a choice," the human said. "Walk or we will carry you." They took him to the surface. The streets were full of Valkyrie citizens watching in fear. But the humans had hurt no one. Buildings stood undamaged. Children played in the parks, guarded by human soldiers who made sure they were safe. This wasn't an invasion. It was something else. Something the galaxy had never seen. A human ship descended from orbit. It was massive, blocky, and covered in weapons that weren't firing. Admiral Chen walked down the ramp. She looked at Vekthar. "You started a war with a species you didn't understand. You thought our kindness was weakness. You were wrong. What will you do?" Vekthar asked. "Kill me? Destroy my world?" "No," Chen said. "We're not like you. We don't kill when we don't have to. We're going to do something worse. We're going to make sure you can never hurt anyone again." Over the next week, the humans did exactly that. Every shipyard in Valkyrie space was dismantled. Every weapon factory was shut down. Every military vessel was stripped of its FTL drive and weapon systems. The humans didn't steal the technology. They destroyed it completely, made it so the Valkyrie would have to spend centuries redeveloping it. Then they did something the galaxy found even more shocking. They left. No occupation, no demands for tribute, no subjugation. They left the Valkyrie with enough technology to live comfortably, to feed their people, to have medicine and communication and normal lives. They just took away their ability to reach the stars, to make weapons, to threaten others. Before Admiral Chen left, she broadcast one final message to the entire galaxy. "Let this be a lesson," she said. "Humanity came to space to escape our violent past. We hope to find peace. For 400 years, we kept our weapons hidden and our soldiers in the shadows. We wanted to believe that the galaxy had evolved beyond violence. She looked directly at the camera. We were wrong. But we are not angry. We are sad. Sad that we still need to be ready for war. Sad that species still choose violence over peace. So this is our promise renewed. Attack our civilians and you will lose the ability to threaten anyone. Not your lives, not your freedom, but your ability to hurt others. We will remove it, and we will not apologize. We don't want your fear. We don't want your submission. We just want you to stop killing innocent people. The transmission ended. The Galactic Council met in emergency session again. This time, every species was there. Everyone had watched. Everyone had seen. What do we do? Someone asked. Keeper Shara stood up. The old Zenthari looked at the assembly. We do what we should have done 400 years ago, she said. We take responsibility for peace. The humans have been protecting the galaxy alone for too long. They asked us to help and we failed. A civilian ship was attacked in neutral space and we did nothing. The humans did something, another representative said quietly. Yes, Shara agreed. They kept their promise. Now we must keep ours. The council passed new laws that day. Laws protecting civilian ships of all species. Laws making attacks on unarmed vessels a crime against the entire galaxy. Laws the humans had asked for 400 years ago. Laws that came too late for the silent promise. But not too late for everyone else. 6 months after the Velkari homeworld was pacified, Captain Elena Voss woke up. She was in a medical bay. White walls, soft lights, and the hum of machines. For a moment she panicked, thinking she was captured. Then she saw the flag on the wall, Earth's flag. She was on a human ship. Easy, Captain, a doctor said, helping her sit up. You've been in stasis for 6 months. Your body needs time to adjust. My crew? Elena's voice was rough from not being used. My daughter? Maria is fine. She's waiting outside. Most of your crew survived. 31 out of 47. Elena closed her eyes. 16 dead. 16 people she couldn't save. It wasn't your fault, the doctor said gently. You did everything right. The stealth pods worked exactly as designed. You saved everyone you could. What happened? Elena asked. After the ship died? The doctor smiled. You activated the beacon. The fleet came. I think you should hear the rest from someone else. Admiral Chen entered the room. The old woman looked tired but satisfied. She sat down next to Elena's bed. Captain Voss, Chen said, you kept your crew alive in an impossible situation. You activated the protocols. You did your duty. Did we win? Elena asked. There was no war to win, Chen replied. There was only justice to deliver. And yes, we delivered it. She explained everything. The Velkari fleet destroyed. The military dismantled. The species grounded but alive. No one died? Elena asked, surprised. 3 Velkari soldiers who refused to be stunned. They forced lethal response. Otherwise, no. We're not in the business of revenge, Captain. We're in the business of making sure this never happens again. Elena thought about that.
What now?
Now you rest. Then you decide if you want to go back to trading or if you want to do something else. Chen stood up. The galaxy knows about us now. The real us. Things will be different. Elena was released 2 days later. Maria ran into her arms, crying and laughing at the same time. They held each other for a long time. The ship took them to Deep Harbor Station, the same station where Elena used to deliver cargo. But it was different now. When she walked through the corridors, aliens stopped and stared. Some looked afraid. Others looked respectful. Some just looked sad. Robert, the human merchant she'd known for years, was reopening his fruit stand. Elena, he called out. I heard you made it. Thank the stars. You closed your shop, Elena said. Everyone did. Why? Robert's smile faded. The signal went out. Never again. Every human felt it. We all knew what it meant. Someone had broken the promise. Someone had killed our people. He looked at his hands. We couldn't just keep smiling and selling fruit. Not while our family was being murdered. So you all went silent. We all went home, Robert corrected. We went to our ships and waited to see if the military would need us. Turns out they didn't. They had it handled. He looked at her seriously, but we were ready. Every civilian, every trader, every teacher. We were all ready to fight. Elena understood then. The peaceful humans everyone knew were real. But beneath that peace was a promise, a unity, a willingness to stand together when family was threatened. On the Valkyrie homeworld, life was slowly returning to normal. The humans had left, but Galactic Council peacekeepers remained. They were there to help, not to rule. A young Valkyrie student asked her teacher a question. Are humans demons? The teacher thought carefully. She was old enough to remember the propaganda, but also old enough to see the truth. No, she said. Humans are not demons. They are teachers. Teachers of what? They teach us that kindness is a choice, not weakness. They could have killed us all. They had the power. But they chose mercy. They showed us that being strong means knowing when not to use your strength. But they took our ships, our weapons. They took our ability to hurt others, the teacher corrected. They left us everything we need to be happy, to live good lives. They just made sure we couldn't hurt anyone else. That's not cruelty. That's wisdom. In the Galactic Council chambers, new rules were being written. Real protections for civilian ships. Real punishments for those who attacked unarmed vessels. Keeper Sha'ara led the effort. We failed, she told the assembly. For 400 years, we let the humans do the hard work of protecting the innocent. We assumed violence was over because we didn't want to deal with it. We were lazy. We were cowards. The humans showed us what real strength looks like. It's not about big weapons or powerful ships. It's about being willing to stand up for those who cannot defend themselves. The vote was unanimous. The new laws passed. 3 pirate groups that had operated for decades surrendered within a week. 2 aggressive empires suddenly became very interested in diplomacy. Slave traders disappeared overnight. No one wanted to test the humans again. On Deep Harbor Station, Elena stood at the window looking at the stars. Maria stood next to her. Mom, are we going back to the ship? Maria asked. Yes, Elena said. The new promise is ready. New crew, new mission. Same routes. Aren't you scared? After what happened? Elena put her arm around her daughter. Every day. But someone has to show the galaxy that we're still willing to be kind. That we still choose peace even after they hurt us? Especially after they hurt us, Elena said. Anyone can be kind when it's easy. We're kind when it's hard. That's what makes us human. Out in space, the human warships were going back into the shadows, back into darkness. The peaceful traders were coming back. The smiling diplomats were returning to their posts. But everyone knew the truth now. The humans were kind because they chose to be. They were peaceful because they wanted to be. Not because they had to be. And if you hurt their innocent, if you killed their children, if you broke the peace they worked so hard to maintain, they would come out of the darkness. Again, silent, unstoppable, merciful, in victory but absolute injustice. The galaxy had learned its lesson on a human military station hidden in deep space. Admiral Chen looked at her fleet. 2,000 ships, weapons powered down, waiting in the dark. Stand down to observer status, she ordered. Resume the watch. Pray we're never needed again. And if we are? Her second-in-command asked. Chen looked at the stars. Then we'll do what we've always done. We'll protect those who cannot protect themselves. We'll remind the galaxy that peace is not weakness. And if they don't listen, they'll listen, Chen said quietly. They've seen what happens when they don't. The human fleet disappeared from sensors. Hidden again, watching again, the galaxy continued its business. Trade flowed. Diplomacy happened. Children played. And in the quiet spaces between the stars, human ships patrolled in silence, hoping for peace. Prepared for war. Forever vigilant. Never again.